Sony, you really need to change your decisions right now. Sony, you just need new leadership. You just need new leadership. Sony is literally starting to go back towards the beginning of the PlayStation 3 era. Let's get this video started. Catch 'em all. So, welcome back to my channel. Now, Sony, back in the beginning of the PlayStation 3 lifespan and the end of the PlayStation 2, Sony was becoming anti-consumer because of how successful that the PlayStation 2 was, and they changed with the PlayStation 3, and then going to the PS4, then they became pro-consumer. And now, because of the fact that the PlayStation 4 has sold a lot of millions of units across the globe and is selling constantly, and they're getting good things talked about them, now they're going back to being anti-consumer, and they're going back to that direction, and it's going to bite them in the ass. Like, probably in the next year or two, like, it will literally, it's going to bite them in the ass in the near future. So, and there's so much to discuss right now, especially with Sony. Ever since the PlayStation 5 has came out, and just a little bit before, like last year and the end of 2019 is when it pretty much all began. Now Sony is just changing in the opposite direction than what they were beginning of the PlayStation 4's life cycle. And I'm telling you, there's quite a bit to discuss right now. So, number one, the PlayStation 4, alright, I made a video talking about this, and I think it was my first video that I made with using my brand new webcam that I got like a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it was the first video that I made using this webcam. And there is a PS4 CMOS battery, and it's in supposedly every system that the PlayStation 4 is. Whether if you have an original PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 4 Slim, or even the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is what I got, and you can see it actually right there, and I'm right exactly pointing at it, and as well as my PS5 right there. But it doesn't matter, like I mentioned, either if you have the original launched OG PS4 or the PS4 Slim or even the PlayStation 4 Pro, there is a CMOS battery that is in every single PlayStation 4 console out there. And if that battery ends up dying or is very, very bad, you will not have access to your digital games. But what is even worse, you won't have no access to your physical games. So everybody is actually really, really upset right now. I, including myself, am, because I have a huge catalog of PlayStation 4 games that I have literally bought over the last 4 or 5 years, and this really makes me mad because it's like in the distant future. Now, it's all good for right now because the PlayStation 4 can still connect to the internet, but because of the fact that Sony is turning off the PlayStation 3 store and the two PSP consoles, the PSP and the PS Vita, that is basically leaving others in the dust, and others actually really, really worried. And it's going to turn out to be a big, big problem, especially a lot of people. I mean, heck, it's already turning a big problem because of the fact that they're shutting down the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Portable, and the PlayStation Vita, especially the PlayStation Vita. There is still games coming out for the PlayStation Vita, and they're supposed to be only digital. And how else are those developers going to be able to make money if people can't buy the game on the PS Vita that they're making it for? See, Sony doesn't think that, especially Jim Ryan. He doesn't think that at all. Oh, it's an old system. Why would anybody play this? Are you kidding me? You all want future games. You don't want these old school classics that you bought hundreds of dollars on. No, we know you want the future and that's all you care about. We don't care if you care about the past and all your purchases. We care about the future and that's all you guys want. When reality, there is millions of gamers out there, including myself, that still care about older games. I mean, look right there. I mean, you did see some right over there, but I got the door shut. But you can see right there. Right there is PlayStation 2 games and original Xbox games. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a very select few that I would still love to have access to on PlayStation, on basically like the PS5, and still love to have access to them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a very select few to show you guys. Okay, there's actually tons and tons of more that I would love to play, but here is a very, very select few. Okay, these three right here are the Legend of Spyro trilogies, or the Legend of Spyro trilogy, I mean, and these games came out on multiple platforms, but if you want one complete system that has the entire three of the trilogy, it's the PlayStation 2. The GameCube only had these two, and then the Nintendo Wii only had these two, and the original Xbox only had this one, as well as the 360 and the PS3 only had that one. But as you can see right here, the PlayStation 2 has literally the entire trilogy of the Legend of Spyro. And these are as really popular as most Spyro fans like, but I am a diehard true Spyro fan, and there still is people that love this trilogy, the Legend of Spyros, and this is the only system to play all three of them on, because the story on these three is all combined. You start out with this one, then you move to that one, and then you finish the last one on that one. And the whole story is combined with all three. But these ain't just the only games that I got. Here's a couple of others. Crash Bandicoot Twinsanity. This is my all-time favorite Crash Bandicoot game ever. And it wasn't as popular either as the original trilogy. But this had wonderful soundtracks and wonderful levels and great story and awesome gameplay. This one was the best Crash game in my personal opinion, and I would also love to have access to it. And then definitely one of the big games of all time that I still love to this day, and this is Conflict Desert Storm. Now, this game came out in 2002, and next year this game will be 20 years old. And honestly, Jim Ryan, I would really love to have access to play this game. I don't care about the visuals. I don't care about the resolution. I don't care about frame rate. We just want to be able to play are old school favorite games, and this is one of my all-time favorite games that I have ever owned and that I've ever played. This has wonderful freaking gameplay. I still think the graphics are decent as being an old school PlayStation 2 early game. The graphics I still appreciate to this day. So if I can have access just to play it, that's literally all I care about. So this is definitely another game, and I'm probably sure there's probably tons of you out there that probably have played this and probably think the same thing. Would love to have access to this one. And then the last game of the 6 games that I have. Now, I don't know. I don't think this one was like super popular, but there still is fans that love especially this game, and this is actually my favorite true crime game ever. And I would love to also have access to this game because I've beat it like 2 times, and this game's really fun and it's really addictive and it's amazing, especially for being a free roam. So that right there is some of the select few PlayStation 2 games that I would love to have access to play on my PlayStation 5 or hell, even my PlayStation 4 Pro. Them games would be amazing. So, honestly, what I honestly think needs to happen, and I've actually watched a couple YouTubers also, they are completely honest and they are agreeing all the way that Jim Ryan needs to leave PlayStation and we need to get a new leadership and somebody to take Jim Ryan's spot. Because what it does sound like is Jim Ryan is starting to make PlayStation go back down to the early PlayStation 3 days is what's going to happen. And it's going to turn out a lot of trouble for especially the PlayStation 5 because they just are. And the other thing with Sony that's making them go downhill is the fact that A Days Gone 2 has been fully pitched and Sony doesn't think that it should have come out anyway. But instead, they decide that a Last of Us 1 and 2 remake for the PS5 is a much better idea. When in reality, it's not. I mean, I personally am a big fan of The Last of Us. I think the Red Dead Redemption series and The Last of Us series are the 2 greatest games, in my personal opinion, that have tremendous storyline and that are both tremendous masterpiece franchises. The Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 and The Last of Us 1 and 2 are freaking amazing, and they're both masterpiece franchises and great storyline on both of them. And I would be okay with a Last of Us 1 and 2 remake, especially playing it on the PS5 back here. And as long as it plays in 4K and 60 FPS, then I'm fine. But if it's not the smart move to do, then they should have just stick with Days Gone 2. Now, it's been confirmed that Days Gone actually did, it didn't like sell like how many like Sony was wanting it to, but they still sold millions of units. It still sold PlayStations, and it was still profitable. And Sony's still saying, oh, no, we can't do that. It wasn't as much as we thought, even though it was profitable, and they can honestly make a Days Gone 2. And a lot of other fans are really upset with it. Now, I played Days Gone a little bit. I haven't fully got into the game, but the game is actually really fun. It's still okay. I still enjoy it, especially the little bit time that I did play it. So, I would honestly love to see a Days Gone 2, but, you know, Sony just supposedly thinks, oh no, a Last of Us remake is more important. And in reality, it's really not, because honestly, The Last of Us 1 was already remastered for the PlayStation 4, and if you have a PS4 Pro, you can literally play that game in like 4K at 60 FPS or 1080p at a steady 60 FPS, And most likely, if you put that in the PS5 back there, you'll probably get the 4K visuals and more steady 60 FPS, considering that the PS5 is like 3 times the power of the PS4 Pro. So you could pretty much just play The Last of Us Remastered for the PS4 on the PS5, and it will play better than ever before. So yeah, that's what a lot of people are really going to say. And the same thing with The Last of Us Part 2. You could just play The Last of Us Part 2 from the PS4 library, just pop it into PS5, and you're going to be set to go. And if people want an upgrade experience, like maybe 4K visuals, like true 4K visuals and a steady 60 FPS instead of 30, they could just patch that up with the PS4 version, and people will get basically like it's remastered. Instead of completely remastering it again and remaking, even though I will be okay with that, not others won't. Others will be like, well, I could just play the PS4 remaster version of the first Last of Us, and I could just play The Last of Us 2 that just came out for the PS4 in the PS5, and we'll just get the upgrade experience just with the PS4 versions. And that's what they're going to think. So, Jim Ryan, I'm telling you what, you need to step up your game. Like, completely. You need to literally step up your game, Jim Ryan. Or else you are not going to be famous anymore. Just saying. So, just saying. If the PlayStation doesn't fix things up, or Sony, I should say, if Sony does not clear things up or get things right, or takes Jim Ryan out of the leadership or the office or whatever, things are going to turn back on Microsoft this generation. I can already tell you. If Sony does not change their strategy before the end of this console generation in like 7 years, Microsoft's going to start catching back up like they did with the Xbox 360 and all of that, and PlayStation's going to go back downhill like they did again with the PlayStation 3. So, it's really time. I'm telling you, it is 100% time. It is time for Sony to get new leadership, and also to rethink on some of their things that they are making decisions on, especially like shutting down the PlayStation Vita's store that developers are still making games for, and also like especially with the CMOS battery that is inside the PlayStation 4, and like I've mentioned, it's on all 3 models of the PS4, even the original, the Slim, and the Pro, and Sony just needs to build their consoles a little bit better, because if I can't have access to like especially games like right here, which I still got a few PlayStation 2s that work, and I got 2 fat PS3s that will play PS2 games, but if one day in the future I can't have access to like my PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4, which is in the worst spot. I mean, don't get me wrong, the PlayStation 4 is an incredible console. It's personally my favorite game console out of the last generation. And they had really great games, like I mentioned, Days Gone, God of War is another great game, Marvel Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and then you got third-party games and all that, and then The Last of Us. Like, if we can't have access to those games, especially just the single-player portion of them, then it's really going to be a lot of trouble for Sony, and they're going to really rethink their decisions, and they're going to wish that Jim Ryan was not in the office, or was not the leadership, or whatever the heck he is, or the whatever. They are going to wish that he was not the leadership or whatever for Sony. is what's going to happen, and Sony's going to get a lot of backlash, and Microsoft's going to be right back up, catching back up like they did with the Xbox 360. I'm telling you, if Sony doesn't change their strategy here in the next year or two, Microsoft is going to be right back up on top. And Microsoft's doing a lot good this generation, especially letting us have access to some of our older games. They're going to continue to add more, but for as much as work as they've done, even if they can't get all single games, then hey, we still got some that we can play, and they play and they run and look better than ever before. So Phil Spencer, keep up the good work. And what's going to end up happening if Sony doesn't change their strategy, Phil, you are going to be so thankful for all the work that you have done, and you will sell more Xbox Series consoles is what's going to happen, because people will switch right on over. I've already seen some people that already have switched over to Xbox Series X or Series S because of Sony's decisions. So, Sony, you better step your game up, and you better think twice about certain things before you make decisions. You best better think twice before making your own decisions. This is Infernal Shard 1 for the win, signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys could hit the like button and also turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any new video, and hit that subscribe button, and we will be sure to keep you guys posted with more gaming content in the future. And also send me down in the comment section down below of your thoughts with Sony's decisions over the last couple of months and the whole CMOS battery with the PlayStation 4 and the PS3 and everything like that. So just comment down below, subscribe for those of you that are new, turn on notifications, and hit that like button, and we will see you guys out on the next video. Peace.